if putting a label or a diagnosis on your child doesn't feel right, but you're getting the pressure from others in the society around you to do that, I'm here to remind you to keep going with your heart and trust your intuition. First thing I want to remind you is these types of labels, ADHD, ASD, even neurodivergence, and all the others, SPD, ODD, etc., fussy eater, all of them, they have all come from the mainstream parenting world, medical world, allied health, schooling system, and even the new age spiritual world, where the conditioning is trying to get us to point the finger at others that you've got an issue and you're not fitting in, and avoiding full self-responsibility of you are it. And this is the premise of my book, The Game of Life, How to Play the New Way, is it all comes back to you. And if you're seeing problems in other people, then better come back here if you're not perfect. And of course, we're not. Now, in saying that, it's not to point the finger terribly at ourselves. It's just to remind ourselves when we see something in someone else and they're not fitting in, to have compassion with that. And then also to bring compassion back to ourselves as well. And to wipe all the need to fit into those systems. That's why we are generally seeking these labels, and also the validation that I'm having a tough time here. So it's not also to say that, well, if you diagnose your child, well, then you should look and diagnose yourself either. That's not the point. It's to get rid of. The new way wants to say, get rid of all those words, those labels, that energy, there's something wrong with me. And to remember that your presentation is not a static expression of yourself forever. It's shiftable. So if you break down all the shadows of ASD, let's say, all of those things can be changed. It's all shifting within, which shifts how you see the world, how you behave. It's not a brain thing where you're wired like that forever. Now, that's why our children are resisting it. They don't want it per se. Some children are here to have that label and play out their shadows. That's all good and fine. So if you're feeling like you've got to do it, then that's where your path is, no judgment. But remembering, essentially, if you're not feeling good about diagnosing, then trust that. You'll have more respect from your child into the future, that you've gone, hang on, I want to see you in a different light, and to put more focus on their light. What are their gifts? What's actually going well for them? And to come back and do that for yourself as well. And that brings us back to self-responsibility and that connection, the mother-child connection, and seeing our child. As I did that for my son, who was tricky, and I could have diagnosed him, it brought out more of his light, and it brought me back to my shadows as well, to keep humble and to come back to self-responsibility. And as I shifted myself, my son continued to shift. Check out my videos that are linked here, my website, HeidiHosking.com, for my story. I'll be back here daily with more videos. Subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more like this. See you soon. Bye.